In today's video, I want to go deeper into Armenia and point out to you the reasons why it should be number one on your radar if it isn't already. My name is William Hutchison. I'm the owner of Armenia Colombia Realty for Expats. I've lived in Colombia for almost 13 years and in Armenia for 12. I want to look at at what I call the 5 C's: cost of living, climate, convenience, choice, and of course, coffee. The cost of living here is something that you should try to relate to where you live now. I can tell you that I live at today's exchange rate. I live in a 4-bedroom, 2-story townhouse, gated community, beautiful pool, social center that you can reserve for those special occasions. The townhouse itself, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, an office, large living room, dining room, another room that is really a living room, and it's $426 a month. Now, you can take that in, but I think if you're looking at coming to Colombia, you have to start thinking in Colombian terms. What does 426 a month get you where you live now? And I'm suggesting nothing. You might get a little room, maybe a bedroom in a private home, but the numbers that I see in some of the bigger cities especially, $3,000, $3,500 a month for 2 bedrooms, that's insane when you can live here for 425. It's likely going to get cheaper too. Inflation is going to continue in Colombia. It's bad right now, and the central bank is having a tough time getting it under control. It's over 13%, as is the central bank rate. It's been increased about 12 or 12.5% just over the last perhaps 18 or 20 months. But the peso this morning is 4,700 to the dollar, and my experts that I follow are saying 4,700 to 4,900 by the end of the year. When you look at the food prices, again, you have to relate to what you get compared to what I get. And I'm going to qualify them because I looked this morning at Trader Joe's. Some of the prices there, because I couldn't get non-organic, are organic prices. But what is organic? Is it just a marketing tool? Or do you actually get organic vegetables? And my position is you might start an organic farm that has been a farm for many, many years, perhaps decades. There's still residue of fertilizer in the soil. So how organic are those root vegetables? And as well, if you have a fruit farm, you have trees, you don't spray, but your neighbors do. There's this climate thing, and it's called wind. And if your neighbors are spraying, I don't think that your fruit is pure organic. But getting back to the prices, and I did a video on the prices. Last Wednesday, we needed a lot of fruit and vegetables. And of course, we used the card that I've talked about in other videos, got 40% off. And I saved 48,000 pesos. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. It's only $11 in US money. But I relate that to my gas bill every month, to heat my water for showers and so on, and to do all of our cooking. And it comes in between $8 and $9. So just the savings on Wednesday using that card pays my gas bill for the month. The prices that I looked at, red peppers, $3.99 a pound. I pay 71 cents. Raspberries, $6.25 a pound. I pay 80 cents a pound. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, come in basically the same. It might be $1 a liter cheaper here, but Let's call that a wash. Pasta sauce that Trader Joe's is charging $4.99 for, I pay $1.25 for the same jar of vegetable pasta sauce. And avocados are out of sight. One avocado $3.99. I buy 3 medium for $2. So you have to extrapolate those numbers across your whole food bill. We eat very well for $2.25 a month, $2.25 US, and that number includes cleaning supplies, uh, um, personal hygiene products, soaps, dish soap, everything. So I would say that our food bill is probably $200 a month. Now that $10 as well buys me 3 pounds of Colombian coffee, and I'm going to come to the coffee in a minute. But I'm suggesting, from what I see and hear of, $10 might buy you a couple of coffees at Starbucks. And what does that get you? It gets you a coffee and maybe bragging rights. I stopped at Starbucks this morning for a coffee. They're laughing all the way to the bank because your coffee has got 4 cents worth of coffee beans that they're probably passing off as premium that I buy here as regular, with a little bit of cream and sugar. And it just, at my age now, it doesn't make any sense. The climate here is perfect. I lived in Rodadero for a year on the sea, Santa Marta, and it was into the 90s every day. It would drop to the mid 70s at night. Air conditioning on in the apartment, not during the day, but certainly trying to sleep. It was just too hot for me. I came here. It's 80 every day within a degree or two, and 60 every night. There's no heating bills, there's no air conditioning bills, there's no trouble sleeping. I usually sleep with a sheet and maybe sometimes a blanket, but generally just a sheet. And it's perfect. There is a lot of rain, there's no question about that. But most of the rain, for some reason, is at night. And I would have to talk to a meteorologist about that to find out why that is. But it seems to be conducive to this area. Starts, like last night, it started perhaps around 9:30. It rained all night, and because I was up, and it finished this morning around 4 o'clock. And during the day, you may get a sprinkle. Actually, I'm wrong there. You may get a torrential downpour. But here, you might walk around with an umbrella just in case, but you don't need to walk around with other clothing. If you leave your house in a short sleeve shirt, then probably for as long as you're out, the short sleeve shirt is going to be sufficient. If it's a little bit cooler, then maybe you put on a long sleeve shirt, or maybe a sweater, or maybe a jacket. But I can pretty much guarantee that if you're going out early with that kind of a top, sometime during the day you might be taking that off, because it's very regular here. I'd say 78 to 82, probably 340 days out of the 365. Armenia is very convenient, especially for those that live in North America or people from other countries that can get to Fort Lauderdale. I know there's direct flights into Bogota from just about everywhere, but Bogota is a little difficult sometimes for those people who want to, who don't have Spanish, because there's a terminal change. You go from the international terminal. There's a lot of videos that you can see on YouTube about drugs going through that terminal. It's called El Dorado, and there's a change to the national terminal. It can be difficult if you don't have Spanish, although there are bilingual airline employees that will help you out. Spirit flies directly from Fort Lauderdale into Armenia. It's about a 3 hour and 15-minute flight, but It's direct, and it avoids that situation in Bogota. For those of you who maybe haven't followed the videos, when you arrive from an approved country, you get a tourist visa for 90 days, which can be extended for a further 90 locally at the immigration office here. The cost is very little. I'm not up to date on what it is, but if it was more than $15 or $20, I'd be very surprised. Armenia has choice. It's a city of 325,000 people. There are some things you can't get. There was items that I saw when I went through the Trader Joe flyer this morning that you can't get here. But these are highly specialized items that you might bring in for guests you're having over for dinner on Saturday evening or something. And they tend to be very expensive as well. But unless you can zero in on a specialty shop in Armenia, I'm not familiar with all of them, but some do carry imported products. There is an upscale grocery store in the north end of Armenia. They have imported products, but not a very large selection. For example, they have Hunt's products. I get Canadian maple syrup there. You pay for it. It's imported, so you would expect to. But there are other little shops in the center of town. There's an Italian shop where you can get a lot of imported Italian product as well. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about coffee. As I mentioned before, for a couple of coffees at Starbucks, I can buy enough coffee, Colombian coffee, to last me probably 6 weeks. 3 pounds, a couple pounds every 10 days or 2 weeks or so. It's fantastic coffee. You don't have to buy the premium either to get a nice coffee. The one thing, if you're coming here, that you should try to do is to do a coffee tour at a finca, and they'll take you through the field. They'll show you the pickers. They actually brew the coffee for you. It's roasted at different levels, and you get to taste stronger coffee, weaker coffee, something with maybe a little different flavor as well because it's grown in different soil. That's not to be missed. Okay. I'm going to have a couple of homes up on my website, new listings close to the airport this week. If you're interested in looking at something to buy, you've been here. I am not suggesting anyone come here without knowing or buy here without knowing Armenia and have been here for some period of time. I recommend at least 6 months. But if you're in that mode, these two homes are beautiful for $325 US. I went into a method where you could perhaps retire earlier. As I said, 65 is just a number. If you have home equity, let's take $750 home equity. You come here and you buy for $325. Maybe you put 25 aside, but you take the other 400 into a term deposit. 5% pays you $20,000 a year, 66 a month, and you, as a couple, will live here easily on $800 a month. So it's something to put in the back of your mind. I'm here to help you, however you need help. Some, of course, I get paid for, others is free. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I would like to hear from you. Any suggestions will be looked at. Any questions you have, I'll answer them as I see them. As I said in my previous video, I'm looking for material. I have enough for another 3 or 4 videos, but after that it's going to get pretty thin, I think. Maybe things will come up. Oh, one thing before I go. There's a lot of comment about the safety in Colombia, and I see yesterday there's another mass shooting in the United States. Uh, I think about 2 weeks ago, maybe 10 days ago, CNN had a story that said there was 169 mass shootings in the United States up until that point, the middle of April. So that's a sad story, but it seems to be a sign of the times. It just doesn't happen here. And yet everyone talks about how dangerous Colombia is. That's the end of this video. If you have any questions, particularly about Armenia, much of what I've said here, you can extrapolate across all of Colombia. You go to Medellin, for example, the rent's going to be a little more and the food's going to be a little more. But you should still be able to find a really nice, safe place, gated, pool, and so on, and live comfortably for under $1,000 a month. That's just the way it is here. I'm William Hutchison. My company, along with my wife, is Armenia Colombia Realty for Expats. And add.com to that, you get to our webpage. There's a blog there and all of our listings. I live in paradise. You can too.